Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today we're diving into something that's part performance, part partnership, and all around pure joy. And that's the Liberty class for miniature horses. This is one of those events that's just as fun to watch as it is to participate in. It's a class that lets these little horses shine, shows off their personalities, and to strut their stuff without a halter, without a lead rope, just them, their movement, and their connection to their human. It is a joy to behold. And let me tell you, Shadowfax, he excels at Liberty. This is hands down his favorite thing to do. He loves to run, he loves to show off, and he really loves to come back when he's called. So let's talk about what Liberty is, how it works, what the judges are looking for, and why it might just become your favorite class at your next miniature horse show. So first, let's define it. Liberty is a performance class offered at miniature horse shows, usually under associations like the AMHA, which is the American Miniature Horse Association, or the AMHR, which is the American Miniature Horse Registry. Depends on what kind of mini you've got and who they are registered through. Ignore the rooster. He has many things to say, and he doesn't need to say any of them, but here we are. Anyway, in a Liberty class, a horse is turned loose, completely free, in an enclosed arena. The exhibitor... Thank you, Saruman. That's awesome. They don't want to be quiet. Anyway, the exhibitor, you, typically gets 90 seconds, a minute 30. It can vary depending on which show you're at, but usually it's 90 seconds to show off your horse. During that time, the music is playing over the loudspeakers, and the horse is expected to move freely. He can show off his natural gaits, his personality, his beauty, and just all in all, be himself. You can have one helper in the arena with you to encourage your horse to move and to stay animated, but no touching. You can't touch him while he's moving, and you're not allowed to crack a whip or snap a whip. The whole point is to exhibit the horse as he naturally is. So you can't go over and tap his butt with your hand or anything to get him to move. In most of the Liberty classes, you can't make physical contact, and you can't do things like snap or crack a whip in order to get him to move. Now, once the music stops, usually you have 1 minute to catch your horse, put the halter back on, and typically you shouldn't use treats. Some people do, but you'll take a point deduction if you start using treats. But typically, your best bet is to get them to come to you. Okay, that's the most points. If you have to chase them down, you're going to start losing points, and you typically only have a minute. So you're not supposed to be using treats or ropes or actually catching him. You're supposed to rely on training, trust, and maybe a little bit of luck. And this is obviously where Shadowfax really excels, because he can run around the yard for hours, and when we want him to come, we just call him, and he just comes. And it's easy for him now. It requires an awful lot of training to get to that point. So if you want to compete in Liberty and you want to do really well, you have to be prepared to spend the time. I know it sounds like an easy class where you just let your horse go and then you catch him. And it can be. But if you want to really do well, if you want to win, you're going to have to put in some work. So what's the class judged on? A few different factors. Movement and animation during the actual performance. Responsiveness is an important factor. That's basically responsiveness to you. So if you tell him to giddy up or whatever command you use, I use let's go. But if you tell him to let's go and he gets moving, then that's a good thing because he's responding to you. Or when you call his name, and his overall behavior matters. The ease of catching after the music ends really matters. And of course, presentation and showmanship always matters. Now here's where the fun comes in. Liberty is just as much about fun as it is form. These horses get to run and dance and prance and buck and spin, all in time with their chosen music. So what music you choose will depend on your horse. Some people pick upbeat pop songs, others go for epic orchestra music. The goal is to match your horse's personality and movements with the tone of the music. Is your mini playful and bouncy? Something fast-paced and energetic is probably up your aisle. If they're more elegant and a little bit slower, a little more fluid, then you might look for something more graceful and dramatic when you're choosing your music. And if you're lucky, like we are with Shadowfax, you get a horse that just loves Liberty class. Okay? He lights up. You can see it in his eyes the moment that halter comes off. He prances around like he owns the place. Tail flagging, mane flying, just living his best horse life. And when it's time to catch him, boom, Shadowfax, boom, right to me. Especially if I say, want to go for cookies? Then it's right to me, right away. And off we go for cookies. Okay? He is so easy. It's like he knows the job and loves doing it. But mostly, it's the relationship he has with us, his people. Now, training for Liberty is a mix of groundwork, recall training, and trust building. You want your horse to move out and away from you and go do stuff when you want him to go do stuff. And you want him to stay engaged and animated even when he's not on a lead. You want him to be paying attention to you and what you're doing. And you want him to come when called. This is non-negotiable if you want to place well. If you have to chase him around the ring and trap him in a corner in order to grab him, you're not going to place very well, okay? Recall training is so important if you're going to compete in Liberty. I know it's not a big deal in most of the classes, but it's a big deal in Liberty. When we started Shadowfax's Liberty training, we started with very simple cues, teaching him to move off of body language and to come when we called him. Over time, we built up the energy and movement. We'd let him loose in a safe space and we'd play music and encourage him to move with us and not against us. The catching part, it was always easy, but we turned it into a game. Every time he came when called, he got praise. Lots of treats, lots of affection, lots of scratches. And sometimes we would delay the treat because you have to delay the treat if you're in the ring. If you want the best score, give the treats after you've left the ring. So we would slowly work on delaying the treat or telling him, let's go for cookies. And he'd know we're going to go for cookies. And he learned that way. Remember, because you really shouldn't use food in the show ring, some show rings outright forbid food and some strongly discourage it and you'll lose points. So you want it to be really about the bond you have with him. You don't want it to be, hi buddy. You don't want it to be just about the snacks, okay? Snacks are great. They're a great motivator, but you want it to be more than that. If you're thinking of giving Liberty a try, I have a few tips. First, pick the right song. Match your horse's natural rhythm and vibe. Take a look at your horse and say, what kind of music is him? Not necessarily the music you prefer. Just because you really like hard rock doesn't mean your pony is a hard rockin' pony. Look at him, okay? Take a look. A slow-moving horse shouldn't have a fast techno track, okay? A graceful horse with a flowing orchestral track, yeah, that's usually pretty good. You definitely want to make sure you're focusing on that. You also want to practice your recall. Seriously. A lot of people just ignore the recall and just assume I can catch him at home in the pen. I can catch him fine. It's different, okay? There are people watching. There are judges all over the place. There is noise and smells and all kinds of stuff he's not used to. Practice your recall. Practice until your horse comes every single time, under all circumstances, in different arenas, at different distances, with different distractions, when he's in the middle of snacking on the grass, when he's in the middle of a gallop. Make sure you can call him back to you. It's important. And make sure you use your arena time wisely. You usually only have 90 seconds. That's not a lot of time. Make sure your horse is actually moving during that time. No standing in the corner looking cute. They're all cute. They need to move, okay? They need to move. They need to do stuff. There's flies out here and I don't like it. The other thing is you want to be animated yourself. Don't just stand there like a stick in the mud. Ooh. No. Engage with your horse, okay? Your energy matters. Your horse takes cues from your movement, your body language, your excitement. If you're enthusiastic, they'll be more likely to stay engaged. So don't just Engage, smile, talk to him, right? Get him moving. They do respond when you are engaged. One of the best parts of Liberty, it's great for your horse's mental health and enrichment. Shadowfax loves it. It gives them a chance to move naturally, shows off their instincts, and to choose to engage with you. So you can do Liberty at home. You don't have to compete. Do it at home and notice how amazing it can be to bond that way with your horse. And the kind of voluntary cooperation between the two of you is powerful. It's not about control, because you don't have control. You don't have a lead on him. It's about connection. And that connection is magical and special. Shadowfax honestly seems so proud of himself after a good Liberty run, whether he's in the ring or at home. Don't you, buddy? Yeah, hi. This small pony. I love him. He holds his head high and he walks tall and he looks like he knows he did something amazing because he did. And it's a great way to show off just how much fun mini horses can be. Okay? It's a good way to show people what you can accomplish with a mini horse without a bunch of equipment. You don't need a cart. You don't need a harness. You don't need all this fancy stuff. You can just have a great time with your mini. Now, Liberty doesn't always go according to plan. I've seen horses decide to lie down in the middle of their song, or some who do one lap and then just stand there like, I'm done now. Can we go? And one time I saw a mini who ran perfectly synchronized loops the entire time. Beautiful horse. Looked like he was choreographed by a Broadway director. However, when I mean the entire time, I mean even when it was time to catch him. Can't catch me. And there are definitely moments where the horse decides catch time is optional. I've watched somebody practically beg their horse to come to them, only for it to trot to the other side of the arena, look at them, basically like, try again, lady. It was so funny. But that's all part of the charm. Sometimes your horse just isn't going to perform that day, and it's all in good fun. It's not that serious. If you've got a miniature horse who loves to move, loves music, or just loves being the center of attention, Liberty is so worth it. It's a crowd favorite at shows for a reason. It's fun, it's dramatic, it's heartwarming, and sometimes it's downright hilarious. And for horses like Shadowfax who don't really love rules, if they don't love rules, well, it's the ultimate opportunity to shine. Whether you're looking for a new class to try, or a way to bond more deeply with your horse, or just an excuse to dance around the arena while showing off a little bit, you might find something magical in Liberty. Give it a try, even if it's only in the comfort of your own backyard, right? It's still fun. It's fun to engage. Now, that's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Drop a comment below and let us know if you have ever tried Liberty class with your horse. Or if not, do you want to? I'd love to hear your stories and your dreams. We'll see you tomorrow.